This is the overview for Kit 2 Theme H, the letters W and X and their place in English orthography. The big idea of this theme is that W and X will most likely need special attention when we apply suffixing patterns that determine whether a consonant letter doubles before a vowel suffix. This theme will explain the status of the letter W as essentially double already, the status of the phone W and the phoneme W as semivowels, the historical source of the convention that X is never doubled, the consonant cluster phoneme X as represented by the letter X, the grapheme X, and the phonologies of the graphemes W and X, and finally the place of W and X in the suffix checker. To prepare for this theme, there's some review that you could do with students. First of all, reminding them that single letters are important as part of orthographic units. Normally in the English language, aside from the letter I and A, single letters have no meaning. They must be combined with another letter. Similarly, alphabetic letters need to be referred to by their name, not their sound. Angle brackets, as used in this theme and throughout Real Spelling, are used to show spellings, and we spell out what is inside an angle bracket. Slash brackets are used to indicate phonemes, or the sound. You can see that there by the word quick, Q-U-I-C-K, being represented by the sound quick. It's difficult to write these sometimes, and often the IPA information is provided in the slash brackets, and it's impossible for me personally to write those well at this stage of my own development. So sometimes I go back and forth, but I do try to remember to spell out words rather than pronouncing them. Finally, something you might want to do with your students and really take some time on is to revisit doubling consonant letters and suffixing. We completed an entire theme on this in Kit 1 Theme C. There is a handout on the server which you can use to perform a really comprehensive review of this, as well as use the suffix checker. The main theme has to do with the suffix checker, which looks like this. I've also put this on the server, and this is a very detailed account of how you determine whether or not how to add a vowel suffix. The second triangle down is the one that we're focused on here. Does the base or stem end with a W or an X? The answer to that is that if a base or stem to which you add a vowel suffix ends in W or X, neither doubles before the suffix you might have expected. What we're going to work on is why. First of all, with the letter W, the phone in W can't be further reduced. It's as far reduced as it possibly can be. It is a voiced phone where our vocal cords move when we say W, it moves. And it's considered a semivowel. Part of that is has to do with its relationship as a representing double U's or two U's. The phoneme W in orthography, the grapheme W is rarely found in position other than initial. And there is an allophone in some Englishes that we hear, and kids sometimes and adults sometimes mistakenly think that there's an H in the spelling, but that sound is there. The letter W, as I said before, is called a double U, which gives us this status as a vowel. And also because there are two, it's already considered to be doubled in a sense. It's a doubled vowel. In other languages, of course, this may not apply. We're only talking about English in this study. W in adding a vowel suffix will not double because essentially it's already a vowel. It's a U, sort of, if you take that tact, and it's already a doubled U. So it doesn't necessarily follow the same constraints as other consonants. So if you go back to the suffix checker, you can see that students who understand that W is not necessarily a vowel may select yes on this flowchart instead of no. But Melvin does give them an out by asking if they select no, does the base or stem end with W or X? And he can put them back on the right track with this suffix checker. So moving forward, there's more opportunities for you to work with your students on looking at W. There are the vowel digraphs, AW, EW, and OW. You can work with other graphemes like WH and WR, and look at the spelling conventions for some of these. Two U's together, the UV spelling convention, and the W plus U convention, which is avoided because essentially that would equal 3 U's or a triple U, and we would never have that in English. You can see page 8 of this theme for more information on those opportunities to work with kids. Moving forward into investigating the letter X, when we examine X in spellings, we normally find the sound it makes is X, as represented there by KS, sound-based KS. It resists doubling and suffixing where other letters would double. The word we can work with to think this through is the word LAX, or lax. What are the phones in LAX? What we hear is L, A, K, S, right there. If we push that into phonemes, though, we recognize that when we pronounce it, that last sound is really together, and so it gives us 3 phonemes, L, A, X, and the X is represented by the letter X. To go further here, you can find out also that sometimes the X sound is represented by the trigraph CKS. In this instance, though, X is the only grapheme able to represent the phoneme X, the only single grapheme, so it's often utilized. There's also a film on page 12 that might be interesting to study with your students that explains how the letter X in medial or final position represents the sound X, while an initial position represents the sound Z, like xylophone. Finally, an excellent resource for you to use, which I've drawn here, but which I will put the better version on the server that you can print out and use with students, is to use the suffix checker to practice these doubling rules. Embedded in this list is a W and an X, and it allows students to really use the suffix checker to test out some of these rules and to figure out where they would double consonants and where they wouldn't.